Hello. Happy Friday evening. So grateful that this Friday is beautiful, bright, and sunny. It is uplifting. And to me, I feel like I want to start to just celebrate the possibility and the potential of this new season that we're in. So we'll leave it at that. And on my end, the only kind of prop that you may need is a block if you have one, or a pillow that you can fold up to support your back as we go. But besides that, we're going to keep it really simple and really grounded today. So I'm going to back up and get on the mat. And we're going to begin our practice actually in kind of an unusual position. So we're going to come into a prone position. I'll just ask that you start to walk your knees back and then start to support your whole front body down to the mat and double stack your hands, your choice, right over left, left over right, to bring your forehead to your top palm. And so there's still space to take in breath and to output breath through your nose. And in this position, let's use this time to have the feedback of the lower belly into the mat, into the earth, and how it descends on in-breath. And then naturally how your lower belly hugs into the front side of your spine on your out-breath. And you're just going to play with how long and how slow you can comfortably breathe in this face down position. The movement of your lower belly. Even the movement of the sideline of your body through the rib cage, through the intercostals. Just pause and breathe for a few more rounds of breath. And what I love about this pose is with the gaze down, instinctually, it's probably easier to bring the gaze within. Some gentle stimulation for the space between the brow. Good. One more breath. Lower belly into the earth as you inhale. And lower belly into the front side of your spine as you exhale. Now, before you move at all, take a moment just to scan the feedback of your spine in this pose from the tip of your tailbone to the top of your head. And then from the top of your head to the tip of your tailbone. So this awareness on the front line of your body, on the back line of your body, and then thirdly into the sideline of your body. And now as we bring a little bit of movement into the body, the goal is to use the bones to move the tissues. So you're just going to start to baby rock your hips side to side. So nice to free congestion through the SI joint and through the lower back in this movement. Beautiful. And then settle your hips back at center. Lift your head just a little bit. So as you extend your right arm out to the side, you can glance over and ensure the alignment of your right wrist with your right elbow and your right elbow with your right shoulder. Good. And then we're going to flip the gaze over to the left side. And for some of you, you're going to stay here. If there's any feedback into the anterior edge of your right shoulder, For some of you, you're going to go ahead and start to roll onto the outer edge now of your right hip, and then double stack the legs. So ankles, knees, hips are stacked. We'll say that this is variation 1. Variation 2, as you can see, is you're stepping your top foot behind your bottom foot. And then variation 3 is adding this new layer to your left arm. Maybe it's up towards the ceiling, or maybe it's communicating to your sacrum. So I leave that up to you. But we're always mindful of the Goldilocks rule in this practice. So choosing the option that's just enough. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's just right. And I think one of the biggest teachers of this yin practice is learning to be in the moment with the sensation of your body as it changes. Celebrating the impermanence, celebrating change. 5 more breaths here with your right arm out in any variation that the rest of your body happens to be in. And just slow and steady. And slow and steady. Good. So let's just start to move through the right hand. Now, if you're outside on your right hip, you're going to bring the front line of your body back to the mat and adjust your left arm. And then gradually start to bring your right hand in. Let's bring the fingertips underneath the shoulders. And we'll actually activate a little bit. So we'll bring the shoulder blades in towards the spine, elbows in towards the sideline of your body. And then as you breathe in, start to lift up through the chest. This baby cobra pose. And as you breathe out, bring your chest back to ground level. We're taking 5 of these flowing variations, slow and thoughtful. Breath in to rise. And breath out to lower. 2 of 5. Breath in to rise. Good. Breath out to lower. Inhale, heart lifts. And exhale, heart descends. And last time, glutes are soft as you rise, back body is active. And exhale to come down. Now inhale as you start to rise. You're going to walk your fingertips to the top edge of your mat. So palm of the hands are touching the mat. So forearms are touching the mat. And then our point of focus is initially how your pubic bones stay connected. They stay connected to the earth below. So there's some heaviness there. And there's just the right amount of compression through the lower back, through the home of the kidneys. So add or decrease based on what it is that you feel at this time. And we're kind of playing with the relationship between the heart and the kidneys, between the element of fire and the element of water. And emotionally, that can be the fire element and the emotion of joy. And the water element and the emotion of fear. How when we're joyous, our energy kind of meanders. And how we're in a state of fear, our energy descends or drops quite sharply. So let's use this time to lift up through the front line of the heart and to create some space across the collarbones. And then refine the gaze. Come into that tiny, tiny point between the brow to this gland that has a surface size to that of a garden pea. To the third eye. To the focus of wisdom and to the focus of insight. So you being the teacher and you being the listener. Just a couple more breaths in this variation of seal pose or sphinx pose. And last round, please. Inhale. And then there's no hurry at all. So enjoy the experience of coming down on the exhale, just step by step. And in yin, we talk about the rebound effect can be this kind of warming, pooling of fluids back to certain joints. So do you feel that at this time? And then that same concept of letting the bones move the tissues, you're just going to start to sway your hips side to side. Now settle your hips back at center. And at this point, we're going to start to hike our right knee up towards our right shoulder. So again, you can lift the head and just take a quick glance. Is your right hip in alignment with your right knee? Is your right knee in alignment with your right ankle? So a 90-degree angle. And if the answer is yes, then land your right foot down and return your head back to your top hand. So we're in a variation of half frog pose, coming into the yin meridians now of your right leg. And yin is internal. So the meridians that run along the inseam of the leg and the inseam of the arms. In nature, yin is the energy that is cooling. Yin is the energy that is restoring. Yin is the energy that is nourishing. In the honesty of the now, you may start to consider activating your right foot. So flexing your toes up towards your face. And then continue to stay as heavy as you can, pubic bones into the earth. And that supple quality with your lower belly as you breathe, as it descends, and exhale as it hugs into the front side of the spine on its own. We know that when the belly moves with breath, chances are the body is in a deeper state of relaxation. Good. Just a couple more cycles in our half frog. Please inhale and exhale. And one more round of breath. Gradually starting to return your right leg back towards your left leg. You know this transition, that baby rock of your hips side to side with bones moving the tissues. And then our open wing pose with our left arm out to the side. So please lift your head. Extend your left arm out. Make sure that your wrist is in alignment with your elbow and your elbow is in alignment with your shoulder. And then rotate the head to start. So for some of you, this is where your posture is. If there's enough feedback across the front line of your left shoulder, you stay. For some of you, you're going to start to roll to the outside of your left hip and double stack the legs. For some of you, you might start to step your top foot behind. And that Goldilocks rule, so it's just enough. I had one of my teachers always joke, like, enter a pose. If we were to hold it for, say, the rest of the class, you could safely do it. The good news is we're not, but it's just being mindful of kind of your choice. And that's just what yoga kind of teaches us, is the choice of the now. Option with your right arm is to extend it to the ceiling or to place your right hand to your sacrum. When we were still practicing at the studio, there was this quote that said, choose your own adventure. So choose your own adventure here, with top arm, with top leg, with the expression of your pose. But maybe where it shifts is the adventure of the mind. Our mind is used to overcomplicating things. And so in the feedback of the physical, we can bring the mind into the moment. And the adventure of the mind is to feel into the body, to be into the body, and to embody this experience. Five more breaths here in your open wing pose. I think some teachers call this broken wing pose, but I'm choosing the positive spin, the open wing pose. Yeah. So let's just start to move through the left fingers. Good. And then nice and slow, you're going to return to the front line of your body. Double stack the hands. And then just that sweet transition of baby rocking the hips side to side. We'll come into one more back bend of choice. And this second set, we're just going to hold kind of for 10 breaths, so about a minute of time. Let's just start with hands underneath shoulders. And then inhale to rise. Walk your forearms out in front. And then because this is a bit of a shorter variation of your back bend, feel free to stay here. Feel free to bring both of your heels in towards your sit bones, or you can start to walk your arms further in front for your seals pose. And I think we're probably at about 7 breaths, lifting through the heart and adding that safe amount of compression into the lumbar curve of your spine, into the kidneys, into this system of filtration. And in Chinese medicine, we talk about the kidneys anchoring the inhale breath. So just try to anchor the breath as low as you can. 3 more cycles. 2 more cycles. And 1 more cycle of breath. A gentle reminder to take your time to come back to mat level. And then double stack your hands, return your forehead to your top palm, And baby rock your hips side to side. Bones moving the tissues. Our half frog pose now with the left leg. So I'm going to choose to lift my head just to check into alignment as I hike my left knee up. Left knee with left hip. Left knee with left ankle. And then once I'm there, I'm going to return my head back to my top hand. Active or passive through your left foot. The yin meridians now of your left leg. The meridian of the spleen, of the liver, of the kidney. So what I find really fascinating is how we see 4 distinct seasons, how we can be a witness to 4 distinct seasons. Of course, some are much longer than others. Winter felt especially long this year. But in 5-element theory, there is a 5th season, and that's known as late summer. We could think of it as the dog days of summer, but we could also think of it as the first 5 weeks of each season. The time where we can really witness in nature transformation. And so to me, we're in that time right now. We're nearing towards the season of the liver. We're nearing towards the season of growth. But in these 5 weeks, we come into the earth element. We come into the element of transformation. Slow and steady here as you breathe. And because I was talking about transformation and the earth element, of course, this is linked to digestion. How digestion can start to change as the outer world gets hotter. As we have more yang in nature. One last breath. Take your time to bring your left leg back towards your right leg. And this is our last time. We're going to baby rock the hip side to side. And then just because it can feel quite good, please start to bring your heels in towards your sit bones so your knees are bent. And then just crisscross your legs side to side. Out and in. And out and in. And then keep where you are, so heels are drawing in, and windshield wiper the heels side to side, so they're going in the same direction. That's it. Nice. So exhale, please bring the tops of your feet down to the ground. And we're going crazy. We're going to make a half turn. So we're going to go from the front line of the body now to the back line of your body. And I'll just ask that before you make this transition, or as you make this transition, you find your prop, your block, or your pillow. So you know where it is and it's close to you. And then we'll adjust. So once we're in this back lying position, bend your knees. Knees over heel bones. And with your block or with your pillow, you can fold the pillow in two. You're going to press into your feet, lift your pelvis up, and then slide your prop underneath your pelvis. So to the end of your spine, to that flat bone that's kind of the shape of your palm. So to bring some compression to the part of the body that changes most quickly as we age. And the theory behind compression is bone is unique. Bone is the only tissue that heals with bone, or bone is the only tissue that heals with itself. So as we come out of this pose, then as bone heals with bone, it can rebuild a little bit stronger. This is an inversion as well. So we have the head slightly below the heart. And you're starting to play with the way that you can bring your heart to your chin. A little bit of compression for the thyroid and the parathyroid gland at either side of the throat. So the two trajectories or the two pathways of the parasympathetic nervous system happen at the sacrum and the occiput. And so both of these parts are under a little bit of compression or have the support of the block, of the pillow, and the earth below. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest. The slowing down to restore and to rebuild so that transformation happens when your cup is full or more full. 3 more breaths here. A little bit of height into the pelvis in this inversion. So on this exhale, please keep your left foot on the ground. And then inhale, hug your right knee in towards your chest. From here, we're going to cross our right ankle over the left leg. So this back lying figure 4. I will say that if the prop underneath your pelvis isn't your cup of tea, you can remove it at this time. If it is your cup of tea, then leave it and choose now how you'd like to kind of add to your left leg. So you can keep your left knee bent, or you can start to extend your left leg up. I have the needle pose, or this back lying figure 4. And the inner mind's eye just shifts now to the outside edge of your right hip, to this group of tissues that start at the SI joint and attach to the greater trochanter of the leg. So in curiosity, do you wish to just stay, or do you wish to just kind of sift a little bit side to side? Mind focused on the feedback of the body, on the honesty of the body. And then wherever you are, just honor the pause at center. And picture the breath like a wave rolling onto shore, symmetrical and even, Same amount of time to come in. Same amount of time to roll out. Same amount of time to roll in. Same amount of time to roll out. And one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Start the release with the hands first. And then legs will follow, left foot to the mat. Just windshield wiping side to side, all the while keeping that right leg crossed up and over. Good. And then release. So sole of right foot to the mat below. And we're switching sides. Left knee is hugging in, hands greet the shin. A thoughtful belly breath. So breathing deeply into the top line of this left leg as you inhale. And belly settles on the exhale. Back lying figure four to start. Left leg crosses up and over right leg. Flex the toes. Protect your left knee joints. And then step by step, you can stay. You can eye of the needle pose with your hands. So hands wrap behind. Extending that right leg or keeping the right knee bent. Target tissues outside of left hip. We have this theory in Chinese medicine that stagnation is pain. And if we can bring the inner mind's eye to an area, if we can bring the energetic quality of a breath to an area, then new energy can flow. And the main sites of pain in the body are our joints. It's the largest space between the bones where there's a gap, where there's a divide. Picturing that wave rolling onto shore. That even bell shaped with your breath. Same amount of time to come in. And same amount of time to roll out. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. And one last time. Inhale. And exhale. The gradual release, left or right foot to the mat. Keep your left leg crossing up and over your right leg, and then just windshield wiper side to side a few times. That's the way to uncross your left leg now from your right leg. And press into the feet. Lift your pelvis up. If you had your prop underneath you, remove it. So now your pelvis is coming back to the ground. And just a couple of times you're going to play with shifting your knees over to the right side. So exhale. And then inhale, bringing your knees back to center. And exhale, shifting your knees to the left side. Good. And inhale back to center. Now we're going to switch it up. So you're going to come onto the pinky toe edge of your right foot, and your right knee is going to come out to the side. So exhale. And then inhale, inseam of knee to inseam of knee, and reverse with your left leg. Come onto the pinky toe side of your left leg. Exhale, knee opens. And inhale, inseam of knee to inseam of knee. One more time in each direction. Right leg, pinky toe edge of the foot, exhale. Good, inhale, inseam of knee to inseam of knee. And exhale. And inhale. Good. So you have that action of opening your knees outwards and then downwards for our last pose before Shavasana, our back lying bound angle. Because the pillow or the block was out, or blocks if you're at home with more than one, you can always bring your block or pillows underneath your knees like so for some support. You could also adjust your heels further away from your groin or closer in towards your groin based on where this is and how much this is through the inseam of your legs. And at this time, adjust your arms so they're comfortable out to the side, or maybe bringing your hands onto your body. A tactile experience to connect to your breath as your lower belly and as your chest rises into your hands as you inhale. And as your breath falls away from your palms into the midline of your body, skin into muscles and muscles into bones on the exhale breath. I find with the hands on the body, it can be that reminder of an I am statement that you find to be powerful and you find to be authentic for you today. So just breathe into that power. Breathe into the power of your I am statement. So much so that it kind of resonates through all of the cells in the body, through the matrix of the body, and through the matrix of the mind. One last breath. And then take it really slow with your hands on the outside of your knees to support the legs back to center. And sometimes the lesson or the learning in the pose is the coming out. It's the transition after. So inhale, please hug now both of your knees in towards your chest. And if it feels right, in this little ball of you, shift side to side or front and back. To take it slow and just make this offering as you extend the legs, as you open the arms for Shavasana. For your final resting pose. And we'll end today with this roving body scan. So as you lie here, bring your awareness to the top of your head. And then let's think of the top of the head like the top of a waterfall. And it's bringing this kind of fluid quality across the forehead. So forehead relaxes. The muscles around the eyes relax. The cheeks and the jaw relaxes. And the tongue softens any grip that it may or may not be having in the top palate of the mouth. Whole face is soft. From the face and the head, ease into the sideline of your neck. And then call upon the support of the shoulder blades in the earth below. This anchoring point in this pose. Soften down your arms from shoulders to elbows and elbows to wrists, wrists to the fingertips. To how our hands provide insight on how we explore the world and how we receive. And so receive. Now as you breathe in, come on back to the center of your chest, to the organ of the heart. And do you feel a pulsation there? Do you feel a rhythm or a vibrancy there? And keep on scanning from the heart down the midline of your front belly to your navel. And then to 2 finger breaths below your navel to the lower dantian or the lower energy center. And continue belly rising and belly falling, even though breath is oh so soft. Another anchoring point is your lower back. The sacrum, back of your hips into the earth. And then soften down your legs from hips to knees and knees to ankles, ankles to toes, and toes to the bottom of your feet, to the lowest point in the body. To our kidney 1 point. And for this last little while in this posture, we're going to just imagine the bottom of our feet being like a second set of lungs. And as you breathe in, you're going to uptake that energy from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. And as you breathe out, you're going to downtake that energy from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Try it again, this uptake of energy. Inhale, soles of feet to top of head. And exhale, top of head to bottom of feet. And just one more time, breath in. Beautiful. And breath out. Based on where your mind is, if it's somewhere else, call it back. Return to the physical feeling of your body, the physical feeling of your body in space. And then in this concept of space, add some movement to toes, to fingers, to ankles, to wrists. Even come into this big Friday evening stretch. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana if you need a little bit more time. If it's your personal preference to come up to seated to end your practice and to start the next cycle, I'll meet you there. Sukhasana. Easy seated pose, where you become the watchful observer of the self. Partially why in so many of our practices we start and end and then start again in this pose. So in the watchful observer of the self, you can be a witness to transformation. And I celebrate transformation with you today. Let's go ahead and bring our hands firstly to the third eye. Secondly, to the throat. Thirdly, to the heart space. And then fourthly, to the navel. And I thank you for your practice. Namaste. Take good care.